My name is Steve Koven, and I am a performer, composer, educator, and improviser. I have spent the majority of my adult life studying, practicing, and teaching the art of improvisation. When I start improvising at the piano, I try to have no preconceived notion of what I'm going to play. I start and then the musical story unfolds in real time. I am working with a variety of improvisational tools and methods that help direct and influence my music. I play with as much intention as I can, influencing and directing the improvisation's overall flow, form, emotion, and content. Both in music and life, I have come to learn that it is possible to help direct our objectives by working with a variety of improvisation tools. It is essential to recognize and practice developing these skills in order to help gain greater control in our decision-making and awareness, allowing us to work with more focused intention on our improvised path. Being in the moment is one of the most important guiding principles when improvising. Being present and aware helps me connect with my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, as well as identify the musical materials I am working with. It also allows me to focus on the task of improvising rather than thinking about things that are not relevant to my improvisation process. Some of the different practices that have helped me become more in the moment are meditation, self-awareness, both physical and mental, slowing down my thought process, and playing the piano with focus and intention at all times. When I improvise, I am at my most vulnerable state. I'm totally exposed. However, I find the process of improvisation both liberating and exciting because I'm free to explore unconscious themes and take chances in relation to intuitions. I'm not too concerned about making mistakes. I've come to learn that a mistake can act as a portal into something that transcends my earlier ideas, often ending up in a better set of choices. As a university undergrad, I was first exposed to the idea of playing inside the piano, which I was fascinated by. This was the first time I realized the importance of approaching something familiar in a different way. By playing in the piano, I'm able to produce sounds and textures, as well as use different techniques which are not normally associated with the traditional piano practice. I can also prepare the piano, meaning I can alter the sound of the piano by placing objects on or between the strings. I like improvising on prepared piano because it produces primitive, percussive sounds and forces me to listen differently to my instrument, thus having a direct influence on the way I approach my improvisation. Gestural playing is a technique which has always appealed to me. When I play gesturally, I'm not worried about individual notes, chords, or harmonies, but rather focus on playing the keyboard as if I were a dancer. Working with limitations is always a good place to start when improvising. You only really need one main musical idea to work with, which then can be developed through using different variation tools. Less is more. Variation tools give the improviser freedom to approach an idea in various ways. There are many different types of variation tools. Being able to identify and apply these variation tools in real time allows me to recognize which musical material I am working with. Whether I am improvising as a soloist or with other musicians, it is important to commit to whatever I am playing. I often encourage my students to embrace wrong or unintentional notes with confidence. When I improvise, I try to play with confidence and commitment at all times. Children are natural improvisers. They are usually uninhibited and express themselves spontaneously. It's intriguing to notice how they are able to block out the world around them and become absorbed in their imagination and creative world. When I improvise, I try to stay connected to my inner child, allowing me to be playful, adventurous, curious, and non-self-critical. In music, the application of silence or space is essential. It is the silence between the notes that help highlight the sound. Space and silence give shapes and depth to my improvisations. Once in a while, I will intentionally not play the piano for an extended period of time. Taking a break from the piano allows me to have a fresh look at my relationship with the instrument as well as the way I create. Recently, after not playing the piano for almost 2 months, I noticed that my hands moved across the keyboard more freely, and I was creating new musical shapes and contours in ways I have never done before. Personally, I believe it is important for improvisers to expose themselves to a wide variety of musical styles and genres. The more you listen to different types of music, the wider your musical vocabulary becomes. Some of my main influences are J.S. Bach, Claude Debussy, Eric Satie, Ahmad Jamal, Miles Davis, Keith Jarrett, Keith Emerson, Steve Reich, Casey Sokol, and my father, Steve Koven. Each individual has helped influence and inspire me as an improviser. Bach was not very well known during his lifetime as a composer. He was better known as an improviser. He would improvise entire pieces of music. It is interesting to note that many of the books on playing the keyboard were written about improvisation specifically. The beauty of improvisation is that it is a creative response to the drudgery of repetition. Improvisation gives us freedom to take chances and make new discoveries. It allows us to express ourselves, be imaginative, communicate, and interact with others. It is hard to imagine a world without improvisation. It would be a very stagnant and significantly less creative place to live.